Well, Halo, this is a new Mega Construx Halo set. It was released on Amazon just recently, something that doesn't happen all that frequently anymore, especially with actually built things and not just the individual figures. This is the UNSC Hornet Blitz, the new one. It's derived from Halo Wars 2, and the elephant in the room is the size of the new Hornet. They've done I want to say 4 Hornets in the past, something like that. I went to room 117 and grabbed one. I grabbed this one just because it's green and figured it would make a good, fair comparison. And there you can just see how much of an obvious difference in size there is. So this, I think, is just a little bit more bulky, this particular version with the lights and sounds, than the ones that don't have the light and sound module. I think it's built up just a little bit more, but the overall size is very compatible with all of the rest. And yeah, the new one is notably smaller. It's just kind of dainty. It looks and feels like just a personal air scooter vehicle by comparison. I don't think that they needed to make them quite this big right here, but this does feel small when you compare it to a figure. It's not that far off, honestly, in proportions, if I can ever get this guy standing up. It's not that far off. It's not that bad. And of course, you have to consider from a perspective of play and display, no matter what, you're only going to put one person into the cockpit, and then you're going to attach other people on the side optionally. This can easily hold a couple of figures on either side, so it'll do everything that you need it to do. My biggest issue personally, I guess I'm just starting off with issues. Okay, well, so be it. My biggest issue with this one, personally, is that there is no print on the canopy to give you that distinction between the spot, or the section of it that is supposed to remain and the section that's supposed to be openable. I'm okay with it all being just one piece here and having all of it open. That actually gives you nice and easy access to the cockpit, which does have a printed console piece there, which looks pretty good. This color is really cool. I don't think I've seen any vehicle or craft fully done in this color before. We've only gotten figures in this color. It looks like I didn't push some things down quite well enough. That's my fault. But yeah, you got a lot of metallic flake in there with this green color. It's kind of cool. It's distinct. Feels very Halo to me, feels very UNSC, with just a little extra flair, with a little bit of extra little shine to it that makes it feel a little bit more futuristic and alien to me. The engine pods can be rotated forward and back, as always, as you like to see. So you can bring those quite far forward, and that's a printed piece right there. That's a printed piece right there. The tail, the UNSC on it, that's printed on both sides. That's good. Though this is small, it's fairly sturdy, and it has the action feature of being able to actually fire out a couple of bolts from the launchers up top. These are easy to get to. These things fire accurately, consistently. They're really well designed, and they don't look bad. They don't make the thing look too toyish for the more collector-oriented folks, in my opinion. Yeah, you can always leave those bolts out if you want. Give you a couple of spare bolts and places to hold them on the vehicle. I really seem to have done a poor job of assembling this. I'm seeing a lot of gaps. And again, that is totally my fault, because as soon as I push it together, it's going to stay. But yeah, sorry about that. Was not paying attention well enough. Yeah, it's just kind of a small thing. That's the only thing about it. I think that this is more massable than the larger ones were. I think that its size is sufficient, but if you are already used to the previous size, then I can definitely understand this coming across as a bit of a disappointment to you. Interestingly, this is the exact same price as the first Hornet that they did back in 2009, though this one is a bit smaller. That original one was smaller than this guy a bit. I think it was the smallest one that they've done, but this is smaller still. However, this does have quite a few more pieces. There's more actual construction involved with this, and of course, now you get the new fancy, fully articulated figures Figure number 1 is a brand new color scheme for the UNSC pilot. I think this guy looks great. I've always liked the pilot figures. They've always been pretty rare in general in the Mega line and distinct. This one has a little bit of boo-boo for the visor, just a little bit of over stamping there with some of the metallic blue, but that can actually be scraped off. I'm glad that they did get some black in there as well. The color perfectly matches. You know, the green color used here is the exact same color that's used for the Hornet itself, and I think it looks pretty cool. You know, again, it's that basic marine green kind of color, just elevated a little bit into the sci-fi world with the metallic flake that's in there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It looks a little fancy, a little bit special to me. But overall, this is pretty good, and it just comes with the single Magnum in black. Figure number 2 is just a grunt, but with a fuel rod cannon. One of the most mean things I think that has been ever introduced into the Halo gaming world. Grunt, so easy to kill, such a basic, simple thing, but with a fuel rod cannon that if you don't see him and you walk up on him and he just unloads on you, you're gone. You die to a grunt, and it sucks. The other thing that was probably is right up there with this, to me, in-game would be the active camo flood combat form. A couple of those, was a couple or a handful of them that we encountered that was particularly mean. But this figure here is done perfectly fine. Nice bright silver color. Nice eye paint application is very fine, very small. See that orange on both sides. It's opaque enough so it stands out, and it's pretty well done. The only thing that would have made this better would have been some paint application on the weapon itself. I personally also prefer older styles of fuel rod cannons. They just attach to my memory and to my brain a little bit better. These are cool. The modern style, modern 343 Halo 5 style, very sleek. Definitely much better with some coloration there, but I don't know. I like the second generation version. So again, if you already have an earlier version of a Hornet from Mega, this is definitely not a must buy. And if you do have an earlier version and yet you are considering getting this because it's new or because of the color or because of the figures, just keep in mind, rewind back, look at the difference in size between this and the other one. Just make sure that your expectation is set appropriately on this. I think that this size in and of itself is not bad. I think that the design is not bad. I'm glad that we're still able to get this at a somewhat reasonable price. It's not as good of a deal as it used to be, although of course you do have to adjust for inflation if you want to have any kind of decently fair comparison in value. But I feel like this is not quite as good of a value as ones that we've gotten before, but it's not bad. And if you don't have an earlier one, I don't think that the size of this should really bug you. The only thing that might bug you reasonably, I think, would be the lack of any printing on the canopy. That really would have been nice just to get one line, and otherwise it would be just fine, because again, you can put 4 figures out on the outriggers on this thing, and the figures that are included are good for what they are. But that's it for my look at this one. So thanks for watching. Hope that I at least showed you enough about this to help you to come to your own conclusion about it, form your own decision. And yeah, I'll talk to you again as soon as I can. Hopefully they'll make some more Halo stuff this year.